So you're probably wondering why I'm sitting on the floor. That's because my butt got so big it just broke all the chairs. So the reason why I'm sitting on the floor is because I want to show you a fun toy I've been playing with for the past 6 months or so. So this little beaut is the Anker 767 or the Solix F2000. And I've been using this generator for a lot of the festivals and events I've been doing. It's been coming pretty handy for a lot of those to power up all the machines I use for it. And it's also giving me more creativity and flexibility when I'm outdoors. So a lot of the events I did brought like very minimal equipment. Since this is the year that I decided to do a lot of festivals and events, I wasn't exactly sure if I even like doing these outdoor things. This year when I started doing more and more, I was like, oh, maybe I could tweak things here, tweak things there. So I'll continue, and if that's the case, I should probably get a generator so that way I'm able to do more things like tapioca pros out in the field. I kind of came up with different methods of how to do it, and everything you would need to have power. I could do a propane tank. However, using propane, you have to go through more hoops and hurdles for that one. You had to get the fire marshal involved. You had to get sign off from the organizers, and there's too many vendors that have propane tanks. They may not let you go in because there'll be abundance of danger on their side, so they might limit, who can actually participate. So if I want to be able to add more things to my booth, like pina colada on menu, and for us, since we do pina coladas in the blended drink, then I would need to have my blender there. In order to have my blender, I would need a generator. However, I don't want to have a gas one because gas are such a pain in the butt. I hate, having to choke it every single time, and this might be a little bit of PTSD, but there's been a few times where I pull the cord and I yank it out. So having to fix those really aggravated me. On top of that, gas generators, you also still run into the same issue as the propane, where some organizations, they would need to know that you have a generator, and they will have to make you go through similar, if not the same hoops as you were if you had the propane. Different counties, different laws, and so forth. That's just another thing I didn't want to go through. You could go for a high-end one like a Predator, and they will run smoothly, and they will not emit a large noise. However, some of the smaller, more budget-friendly ones, they will emit a lot of noises. And that was just something I wasn't in the mood to deal with. In general, a lot of the gas generators, they do produce a lot of loud noise. And honestly, they're not even that good for the environment. And the third reason why I didn't really want to go with gas can fluctuate in price, because gas could fluctuate. Maybe gas one day will be really cheap, gas another day will be really expensive. Carry a gas tank with me every single time and make sure it's always filled, and that would be in the same area as a lot of my food items. So I didn't want have to smell gas be around whatever drinks I'm serving, and I don't have any separators or anything. The alternative I went and found would be electric and or solar generators. They're really great for the environment, be able to produce electricity, and I could bypass a lot of those regulatory bodies because this thing does not, let's say, environmental impact or fire issues as most people are concerned about. Now then, does that mean these generators don't catch on fire? No. They can, depending on what you're doing, but it is just a big old battery, so it's just not the same things that they look for. But the amounts of these generators catching on fire is far less, by a large amount, than their gas counterparts, okay? So, as you already know, this is the Anker 767. Right here is a Vietnamix One Quiet Blender. I like to call her Blenda. And over here is a big old kiosk for customers to take orders. And the other item I have, which I don't have it with me currently, is my electric cooler. I've been able to use a generator for 12-hour events, and I've only seen it drop down to 50%, even with the Vietnamix blender that sucks up a lot of power, along with the electric coolers and the kiosks I have. So the Anker 767, you have this little display here that'll tell you how much power is left, and it'll also let you know about other information such as how much power is being drawn from it. Right now, since I only have the camera plugged into it, there's not much power being drawn. For AC outlets, car socket ones, you have 2 of them in there, and then you have smaller DC outputs, 2 for USB-C-A and USB-C. So one feature I like about this is the placement of this pull-out handle right here. I like that it's up here because typically, you see in a bunch of suitcases and luggage, that they'll put the handlebar down there, and while you're walking, when you put it down, it's kind of on your feet, or maybe you have to lift all the way from down there and pull up here, but instead with this, it's at the top, so it's just easier and more ergonomically friendly to be able to pull it across. So one of the reasons why I picked this generator over similar models from other brands will be that this one is easier to transport because some of the other ones are in this same category. They don't have wheels to it. The other reason is that the AC outlets are able to emit enough wattage that a lot of these devices would need. Some of the other models run certain appliances on there. For those, it was more about giving me a steady outflow rate versus be able to kick it up a notch when you're using something that demands more power. So like espresso machines, commercial blenders, those draw more amps. A lot of the other ones may or may not be able to supply, or they have limited amount of AC outlets. For this one, luckily all four of them are able to produce the amount that I need, because that Vitamix blender I have sucks up a lot of power. In addition to that, the other two reasons why I would also pick this one's the capability of adding solar panels if I really want to. As of right now, it's not really on the roadmap. The fact that I could also add an expandable battery to it. I'm a little sad that I can only connect to only one of them. This thing has been able to power a lot of my devices while I'm outdoors. It's able to generate enough energy to be able to last for a minimum of 6 hours. One of the festivals I did in the summer, I had maybe 3 or 4 of those like power sucking devices along with, like a tablet and a printer. This was able to last, and it only dropped to like 52% from full power, which I thought was crazy. And that was like a 12-hour event. I'm pretty confident that this will be able to last for some of the other events, and supposedly charge this thing for about, I think it's 10,000 cycles is what they have on the website. So in 10 years, the battery will start, deteriorating. Now, who is this for? If you're a retail vendor who sells dog treats, jewelry, dresses, knickknacks, I would say this is probably an overkill for you, unless if you have an elaborate display like an animatronic dog. If you do fall into that category, I'll recommend going with a much smaller model. Even ones that are of a different brand, you won't need something so large, because really, chances are if you're at the farmer's market or just any outdoor event, you're really only accepting payments. And typically you can do that through your phone, or if you have a POS like Square or something. Even then, you still will need something with a lot of energy. Even if you were to charge the POS, your phones, your speaker, what have you, you still wouldn't need such a massive item for that. Now, if you are a food or beverage vendor, that's where things get a little bit dicey, only because a lot of us have different types of needs. So you really have to understand how much power you'll need to be drawn and know what use case you will need for it. So example would be if you need a heater, so that way you keep your empanadas warm. This one will be able to generate it. I will not know how long, as I'm not sure what those heat cases draw. But if you're, let's say, a bartender or something, you could probably use it to keep your drinks cool and be able to have like abundant amount of ice if you decide to get ice maker. So I see it working for those. Maybe not something heavy duty like as I was talking about with induction. I'm not sure how it would handle under the pressure of, let's say, cooking filet mignon and having an air fryer for tater tots, but it may be able to do a trick, it may not. I would say do it if you think it's going to help you minimize whatever cost you're about to run into. So what do you all think? Have you all used the Anker 767? Have you used a different kind of electric generator? Or if you're on team gas generator, let me know what you all think about electric ones. Have a great night. Bye.